I bring you greetings, parents and guardians, friends and well wishers, and everyone hearing the sound of my voice this evening. I want to really thank God for how He has been helping us since the beginning of the new year. And so this time I'll be looking at a very, very important series that I've titled One Way In, Seven Ways Out. One Way In, Seven Ways Out. Now, this teaching or seminar is tied to the essence of marriage and the consequences of a failed marriage. We're also going to be looking at how it connects and how it concerns our children. How in most cases they suffer more when it comes to the consequences that comes from these challenges in our marriages. First of all, we must understand that marriage is God's own institution. And for every one of us to be proud of possessing or having a family today, then we must go through marriage. That is the one way in. For us to have a family, there must be marriage. When there's no union between a man and a woman, then there's no marriage. Remember, we're not talking about the kind of marriage that people have these days. We're not just talking about the kind of marriage that people encourage these days, where the right thing is not done, where the right standard is not followed, where the right principles and approaches are not kept, where people just go about and they say we are just befriending each other, and then the woman gets pregnant and then they take her into the house, they give birth to children, they keep on giving birth to children, and they say it doesn't matter now. They give birth to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No dowry has been paid. That is not what I'm talking about. In fact, that one comes with more dire consequences. And then in the long run, as time goes on in that marriage, then there's conception and there's procreation, and the woman gives birth to a child, to children, and then eventually they get the title mother and father. At this stage, we understand that the essence of marriage is for joy, for fulfillment, for companionship, for vision, for aspirations, for hope, for value. But Satan, the devil, will never be happy whenever he sees things going on well in marriages, because marriage is God's own institution, ordained by God. We know the story. What are we talking about? One way in, seven ways out. The only way into family life is marriage. And that's why, for those who are having families today and the right thing has not been done, like I've said, no dowry has been paid. You just carried that woman. Just because she was impregnated, you took her to your house, and then you are giving, birth every now and then. No dowry has been paid. That is not marriage. It is not recognized by God. We must understand that dowry must be paid. And if you're in that kind of marriage, then you need to wake up and do something about it, because the consequences are there. They are terrible. They are severe. I pray God will help us, will deliver us, and will give us more understanding. As we continue in this teaching, what are we talking about? The plan of the devil is to steal our joy, is to destroy our joy. He wants to take everything sweet in our families. And so what does he do now? He comes, he strikes. And when he strikes, he makes available before us 7 ways out of that marriage, 7 ways out of that family, 7 ways out of joy, 7 ways out of hope, 7 ways out of hope, 7 ways out of fulfillment. And in the real sense, sometimes it does not really mean that the marriage will crash, that the marriage will end. They may be together in that marriage as husband and wife. They may be in that marriage together as man and woman with their children. But that way they have trodden, that way they have followed. And before you know what is going on, there are challenges eating up the family, troubling the family, and of course, the children are not left behind. We'll look at 7 ways out of fulfillment in the family, and how this turns around to affect our children negatively. I pray God will amend our homes, our families, and our marriages. Number one way out: worldliness. When there's worldliness in the family, the father wants to live and act like the world. The mother wants to live and act like the world. Definitely, the children will have no choice but to live and act like the world. And no wonder they are never satisfied with whatsoever they have. They never show contentment. They are never okay. They go out there, they want to be like others. They go out there, they compare themselves to others. Why? It is found in their father. Why? It is found in their mother. The man has a car, a small jalopy, and he has been using that car for the past 5 years. But all of a sudden, he just gets interested in getting the car of his neighbor, getting the car of that other man. He never gets satisfied. He's never get contented. No, the woman is there, always looking at other people, how they dressed, what they wore, what they ate, worldliness, want to pattern like them, want to dress like them, want to go like them, want to talk like them. All these we have an adverse effect in our marriages. And not just that, our children will suffer daily. No wonder when they come to school, they look at people and they say, oh, I wish I can be like this. Oh, I wish I can be like that other boy. I wish my family can be like this. They are never satisfied. Let's teach them contentment. Let's understand that worldliness, being like the world, practicing the things of the world, imbibing the ways of the world, is one way Satan strikes us out of our families and our marriages. Number 2, infidelity. I'll say that in 2 ways. When a man fails to be responsible for the welfare of his family, I'm telling you, that is one way out of that marriage, one way out of God's peace, one way out of eternal fulfillment. What are we talking about? A man who cannot provide for his family, the Holy Book says, he is worse than an infidel. The essence of marriage is for provision. You must be able to take care of your family. You must not do it like everyone does it. You must do it in a way that will bring joy and satisfaction to your family. And so the little you have, you ensure that you are providing for your family. You ensure that you go out there, you do the right thing to provide for your family. We're not talking about a man who just goes out after perambulating here and there. He comes back home and he is expecting the woman to provide for the family. Of course, I'm not disputing the fact that there are times when the woman can support, but it is not her sole responsibility. When this man relaxes, folds his arms akimbo, and watches this woman run helter-skelter, the children sees it. The children knows it. When they get to school, they will talk about it. When they get to school, they will sit and think about it. They'll say, my father never gets things done. Always at home. Always going out in the morning and coming back late at night with nothing. Always, relying on my mother. What a man. That can ruin the family. Satan can use that one way out to ruin the family, to destroy the family, to bring, pain, to bring trouble in the heart of the children. And all these and more definitely will affect them psychologically. And I tell you, if you are not careful, you begin to discover that you lose your priesthood in the family. As a man, of course, the children will look at their mother and say, that's the woman. And what do you expect? The woman will say, I am the one that paid the school fees, one that provides for you. I am the one, I am the one, I am the one. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It's a strategy of the devil to pull down your family. And definitely, it will have an adverse effect on the children. In another way, when I talk about infidelity, we're still in number 2. When a man becomes so promiscuous and is running after other women, and the children know him to have a girlfriend there, a girlfriend there, a girlfriend over there, or maybe it is a woman so promiscuous, having a man friend there, a man friend there. I tell you, it will ruin your home. It will destroy your home. It is an opportunity to ruin everything that you have built, and then it will definitely affect your children. Number 1, you transmit and transfer the spirit of immorality into their lives. And whether we like it or not, they copy it, they learn it, they become part of it, because that is what you teach them. And then eventually, in the long run, you discover that these children, they begin to practice evil, immoral acts that reduces their destiny to nothing. We must watch it. We must be careful. 1 way in, 7 ways out. 1 way into the family, that is marriage. 7 ways out. We've talked about number 1, worldliness. Number 2, infidelity. Let's look at number 3 now. Parental neglect. Parental neglect. You see some families, they just say, oh, my child is 12 now, I think it's time to fend for yourself. Oh, my child is 10 now. I think I don't need to ask you of anything now. If there's anything you need, go and look for it yourself. Your mates are hawking sachet water in the streets, and they have tried my best for you, and they just fend for themselves. You see the man dressing so good. You see the woman dressing so good. The husband and the wife, they are competing together now. But look at their children dressing tatteredly, putting on rags, smelling, looking so unkempt. What a shame. What a pollution. That can ruin your family. That can ruin the lives of those children. That can destroy the destiny of those children. And whether you like it or not, when they appear, you appear. When they appear, your family appears. Anywhere they appear, your name appears. We must watch it. We must be careful, because this can cause psychological defects in their minds. And at the end of the day, you lead them to put their hands to commit sins and do things that they ought not to have done. Let's watch it. Number 3 there, parental neglect. Number 4 now, because of our time, quarreling, verbal and physical attacks, which may eventually lead to divorce. Quarreling, verbal and physical attacks, which may eventually lead to divorce. In some families, the good morning the woman tells the man is foolish man, foolish, useless man. And then the man says, foolish woman, stupid woman, I regret ever marrying you. After all, what have I gained from marrying you? And the children are looking, and sometimes the children are dressed already to get to school, and they're waiting to collect a transport fare, and they have to wait to see these people, exchange verbal attacks now, and they have to wait to see these people punch themselves for like 20 minutes. Oh, no wonder they come late to school sometimes. And when you ask them, they will say, I was waiting to collect transport. They will never tell you what happened, because they are used to it. They see their parents fight and fight, argue and argue over this and over that, because there's no love. Satan has crept into your family. You need to watch it. He wants to ruin. I told you, it's one way in, 7 ways out. It affects the children. And when they come to the classroom, as they are sitting down and they are looking at the ball, instead of seeing the formula, they are seeing the fighting. And then they are teaching mathematics now. Instead of seeing the calculation, they are seeing the quarreling, and they are imagining, and they are saying, when will this ever end in my family? Is it only me? The troubles are there. What are we talking about? Quarreling, verbal attacks, physical attacks, which may eventually lead to divorce. And we see divorce, and remember, sometimes the man does not talk to the woman for 5 days, and the woman increases it to 2 weeks. I will not talk to you. And when the children comes, they look for who to take sides, and they say, my son, if you go and talk to that your father, no food for you today. And that child says, I need to collect something from me. Forget about that foolish man and come to me, I will give you, I'm your mother. And then they look for children to support them, and this eventually troubles the children, and you forget that these children are growing. When they get to 18, 19, 20, they say, my foolish parents. I pray you will not be foolish. Let's watch it. Let's watch it. The things we say, the things we do. Why not go into the room, settle the problem? You are allowing Satan to ruin your family. And sometimes it's 2 days divorce, 3 days divorce, 1 week divorce. I'm going to my father's house, I'm not marrying you again. And after a few days, that other person will go and beg. Now the pastor will go and beg, the alpha will go and beg, and they will return, and they will say, were it not for the fact that my leader came to beg me, you would have shown you pepper. I would have left you here in this house, a useless man who does not value me as a wife. And that's there you are now, there you are. Is that what the marriage was meant for? All these problems you are causing for the children, were they there when you were saying I love you? Were they there when you were saying, till death do us part? Nothing will come in between us. Have you forgotten so soon that these children were not there when you were caressing each other together, when you were making advances to each other, when you were eulogizing the beauty of each other? Were they there? Now you want to ruin your lives. You forget that Satan has a target to ruin your family and to ruin the lives of these innocent children. Let's watch it and be focused. We're going to come to that. And then number 5 now, we have what we call false fellowship and spiritual gluttony. This one is very rampant in many homes. They believe in all these spiritual leaders. They don't know how to pray for themselves. They don't know God for themselves. And they just believe in that revelation there on that mountain, that revelation there in that valley. And they say that man is going to die now, and you are going to pay so amount of money, and I'm going to fast and pray for you. And then they are running helter-skelter, and they are telling their husband, bring the money before we die. You are not going to die. Why are you patronizing false fellowship? Why are you so spiritually gluttonous that at every instance they tell you are going to die, they tell you that, they tell you this, you are jumping up? It can ruin your family. Don't let those people destroy your home. Pray and call upon the name of the Lord, and God will liberate you from every arrows and powers of the wicked one. Number 6, pride, and egocentric behaviors. You see, pride is deadly. The Holy Book said pride goes before a fall. Pride is deadly, very deadly. Pride, egocentric behavior. And maybe that man there is a lawyer, and that woman is just a school sat. And when that man comes and he makes everybody understand, he say that woman is school sat. I just did her a favor, useless woman. She should be thanking her stars that she married me, an esquire, a lawyer, a luminary, legal bachelor, a legal officer. And that woman will say, what have I done to deserve all this humiliation? And maybe it is the woman now, she is the CEO of that organization. She is the one managing that business, and that man, just a bricklayer there. And they say, I don't even know I ended up with you. You just say, I just wanted to do you a favor. You are nothing. How can you do that? How can you say that? Are you forgetting the children are watching? It's going to bounce back, not just to you alone, but to them. And when it rains, it will be difficult for you to amend. Let's watch it today. Let's watch it today. Number 7 and last now, and that is sicknesses and afflictions. Satan throws darts of sicknesses into the family, and then when you look at that woman you once married, and then you see that woman depreciating, shrinking, are you going to still stay? Are you going to still stand? Or you're going to say, how did I make this mistake? A sick woman always making me rush to the hospital, always taking my money. Don't say that. Don't say that. And maybe it is the man, and peradventure he had an accident, affliction, arrow, and that man was walking before, all of a sudden now confined to a wheelchair, and you say, what kind of a problem is this one now? And the children are hearing you. Am I going to be pushing this man all the rest of my life? If he wants to die, let him die. Look at you, you just forgot so soon. You were the one that said I love. These are the ways Satan creeps into our family to pull it down, to destroy it. And like I said, the adverse effect is not just for us alone. It's not just targeting ourselves, our families, but our children. Psychologically, they become imbalanced. They become doubtful of who you are as parents to them. Let's watch it. And they begin to seek evil counsels from people who ought not to talk to them, just because you were not there, just because your patterns and your principles were not in the right path. Let's watch it. Number 1, worldliness. Number 2, infidelity. Number 3, parental neglect. Number 4, quarreling, verbal and physical attacks that eventually, in most cases, leads to divorce. Number 5 now, false fellowship and spiritual gluttony. Number 6, there's pride and egocentric behaviors. And number 7 now, sicknesses and afflictions. Satan will throw darts. He will come. He will use all these 7 ways to push us out. My prayer for you this evening is that you will stand, you will overcome, you will triumph by the grace of God. Let's look at 7 ways we can triumph, 7 ways we can overcome, 7 ways we can withstand all these wiles and antics of the devil to push us out, to ruin the lives of our children and the destiny of our children. Number 1, we must love one another. That love you professed 18 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, what happened to it? Have you forgotten how you were always singing the song of love and saying, I love you, I love you, I love you? Come on, continue with it. Love your wife, love your husband. Number 2, understanding. There must be understanding. We must understand ourselves. We must be ready to listen to ourselves over and over again, 50 times. Don't get upset. Calm down. Take it easy. This will build trust in the family. This will encourage the peace in the hearts of the children. This will help to build them, balance their psyche. And by the grace of God, Satan will lose and fail woefully in your family. Number 3, self-respect and value. You must value one another. It doesn't matter whether that one is a school sat there. Value him, value her. Make people to see him as your king. Make others to see her as your queen. Eulogize them. Don't say you are not the one to tell people, oh, I don't know what I saw in her. No. That's an error. We must understand that. And then number 4 there now, service. You must do service to your wife. You must serve your wife. You must serve your husband. These are the things you do, and Satan will hide his face in shame in your family. Amen. Number five now. Number five, there must be focus. You must focus on the purpose why you are married together. You are married to raise children. You are married to fulfill destiny. You are married for fulfillment. You are married to fulfill purpose. What are you doing? Stop all the side attractions here and there. Focus on this principle. Focus on this pursuit. Focus on these patterns. Focus on these goals. And definitely you will triumph. Number six, there, we build a family together. Let's build together. Let the children know that it is a collective effort. Stop seeking self-glorification. It is me. I am the one. I am the one. If not for me. No, for us. If not for us. We, myself, your mother, all of us. Let the children begin to know that. Let them begin to understand that. Stop taking and seeking glory to yourself. Let's watch it. And finally now, we must watch and pray. If you have not been praying, you need to pray. You need to pray, because Satan, like a roaring lion, is moving to and fro, seeking whom to devour. My prayer is that he will not devour your family. He will not devour the lives of your children. By the grace of God, this marriage you have entered into, this family you have begun, since the past 20 years, the past 30 years, the past 50 years, only God knows when, it will not scatter. I said it will not scatter. By the grace of God, it shall be laid on the solid ground, and nothing shall hinder, nothing shall ruin. Thank you very much for listening once again. I pray you will not just listen, but you begin to take prompt measures, prompt action to see that things becomes better. And when we see these children in school, we see the light of God. We see the glory of God. We see joy. We see happiness. We see thanksgiving. God will do it for you.